double E over everything. They do this in prime time, under the bright lights, for you on the sidelines, and fans in the stands keeping double E pride high. The gridiron fly guys, the green and the gold, yeah, they call it the franchise. The gizmos, the miles, the moves, the Kepleys, old spaghetti legs, Ricky Ray, Willie Kless, and whoever comes next to bring back the chip and add another brick to the legacy. Cause it's double E over everything. Double E is a legacy. Double E over everything. Double E, we rising up.
It's the Battle of Alberta with a different feel as the Edmonton Elks head to Calgary to battle the Stampeders, with both teams knowing their season will come to an end in just a few weeks. QB changes for both teams and players looking for jobs for 2025. It's an early game. It's the CFL on CTV. Elks Stamps, but first, this is the Green and Gold Kickoff Show. Matt Iwanyk, Jay Milne with you here live at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, where every day is game day, just off Fort Road, as we get set for this earlier game between the Elks and the Stampeders. A 1 o'clock kickoff down in Calgary. If you're watching the game on CTV, again, CTV, not TSN. It's exclusively on CTV, although if you have the TSN Plus, I think you can watch the enhanced feed. But you'll hear our own Dustin Nilsson on the call. Matt Iwanyk, Jay Milne with you here. Join us down here at Century Casino. Our Ian's already here. He's having a nice drink at the bar. I think that's just a nice tea, but he is here. So come join us at Century Casino to watch the game, to watch the ponies, to watch the baseball game, to watch college football. There's no better spot to be when there's a wild Saturday.
Scout's coming to watch with us.
Is he?
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's great.
But with everything that's going on in sports, this wall of TVs behind us, it's just perfect. Just absolutely perfect, because we can watch everything. But most notably, the Edmonton Elks taking on the Stampeders.
I thought you were going to say most notably the walls to our left, which are the ponies.
No, I'll say this. That might be the main priority in the last game of the season.
Right.
After the bye week.
We've got work to do today. I've got a future I got a future that needs to land here, and I've got other members of the glue crew that are riding with that would really like to see a victory today.
VR's he's one of those.
Yes, he is.
Good morning, Double E enthusiast. He's in the nasty chat. You could jump in the nasty chat, or you could jump in the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. Dave C780 saying, I'm in Cowtown right now. I'm going to be late for the game, but better late than never. We'll get to one of our stories is the Elks better not be late for this game. They've been a little late to games as of recently. We will get to a lot on the show, but let's start with the starting lineup for your Edmonton Elks. And it is Trey Ford getting the start. Why isn't this screen coming over? There we go for those on YouTube. You now have the depth chart in front of you. Trey Ford getting the start at quarterback. The men protecting him from left to right. Ivy, Foucault, Cordy, Richards, and Boyko. Rankin, the starting running back, with Leak listed as the backup. No Kevin Brown. Sots as the fullback. The receiving core, Lewis, Gittins Jr., Mitchell, Jones, and Mathis. Defensively, D-line, Curtis, Pelly, Oakman, and Brown. Linebacking core, Morgan in between Anderson and Moncrief. And you got in the secondary, Gray, Bratton, Purifoy, Jackson, and Bynum. Beatty kicking. And Julian, who's on pace for a historic season punting-wise. He is the punter for your Edmonton Elks. Injury report, Mr. J.
Yeah, Noah Curtis is in. Jared Dagey is in. Not sure if we're going to see much of him. Part of me doesn't want to see much of him because that means things are going good for the offense and Trey Ford is moving the ball. Obviously, MBT out. And Kevin Brown is, again, a healthy scratch as Justin Rankin and Javon Leak will handle the ball carrying.
When you look at the Calgary Stampeders, the players to watch, they're making a change at quarterback. Matt Schultz getting the start. Jake Mayer will be his backup. No P.J. Walker, who the Stampeders brought in this week. He's listed on their practice roster. The Stamps already looking towards 2025 when it comes to their quarterbacks. They do have the steady Eddie in their receiving core when it comes to Reggie Beggleton. And in their secondary, you got Trey Roberson as the main guy. But the Stampeders, they've lost 7 straight coming into this game. The Elks, they've lost 2 straight, but the Stamps have lost 7 straight, and they will be out of the playoffs. with the Edmonton Elks. Coming up on the show live here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports on TuneIn, iHeart, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, as well as on YouTube. We'll get to our 3 stories. We will hear from Jarius Jackson, interim head coach of the Edmonton Elks. We'll get to our cool bet prop of the game, keys and predictions as well. 3 stories brought to you by James H. Brown, Alberta Injury Lawyers. But let's get to the question of the show. Did you see it? The question of the show? You always never do.
I saw it.
Okay, you did see it. Because the way what you told me prior, I was like, okay, is that just a coincidence, or did you see it? Question of the show.
It's the only question to ask right now.
Would you bring back Jarius Jackson as head coach of the Edmonton Elks? Has he done enough to earn the job of head coach? On Twitter, I posted yes, no, and also the let's see how the last 2 games go. That will decide it for some people. Leading the way at 70% is no. People do not want Jarius Jackson brought back as head coach, followed by at just shy of 18%. Let's see how the last 2 games go. So some people thinking that maybe Jarius could do enough to win them over, and 12% saying yes, bring Jarius back. He's turned this team around. They've been a better football team with Jarius Jackson. Jay?
Well, see, here's the thing. Initially, I would have been 100% behind. Let's get rid of this. Let's grenade this whole thing and start from scratch, because you don't get many opportunities to blow everything up and start from scratch. New owner, new president, new GM, new head coach, and affiliate coaches as well. Not to say that I don't think they're doing the best job they can. I just think given the circumstances, you're not really left with much of a choice, Matty. Now, that being said, if you look at Jarius Jackson since he's been here, he was here in 2022 as the passing game coordinator and the quarterback coach, 4-14, okay? But they had Cornelius, Ford, and Arbuckle. 2023 is the OC, 4-14 again. Cornelius played 7 games, Ford played 10 games. It's 2024 as the OC. They're now 5-11. But here's the difference. Current 2 seasons, the highest points for they had was 367 under Jarius Jackson as the offensive coordinator in 2023. This year, they have 450 points for with Jarius Jackson as OC and interim head coach with MBT and Ford. So part of me wants to believe or think that if he has like Cornelius was not a usable quarterback. I'm sorry.
Dusty says he wants to see him behind without Steve McAdoo's as OC.
Okay, and maybe that's a fair point. Okay,
I'll point that one out.
But he was the OC when Cornelius played 7 games, and they just weren't putting up points. Okay, so is Jarius Jackson a terrible offensive coordinator? No, I don't think so. I just think that there is a chance here to start fresh, and it starts fresh from the president level, and then he says, "Okay, I have to interview G. Roy Simon." Amongst other candidates as well. Maybe he goes back to G. Roy Simon. And then G. Roy Simon, with the aid of his president, says, okay, now we need to find a head coach. They find a head coach. Maybe that's Jarius Jackson. I'm not sure. But then you look down the lineup and you say, okay, do we get rid of a guy like Jason Shivers? Right?
Well, I think he's one of the few coaching staff that's has another year in his contract.
Okay, so then that brings up another issue, right? Is the coaching staff or the coach... the GM that comes in is not going to have full autonomy to do whatever they want because guys are under contract unless they want to buy them out.
Yeah, you could buy out a DC. That's not too bad.
So there's questions here across the board. But, Matty, in my heart, I feel like this is an opportunity to clean house. Yeah. And, I mean, look, they're 5-11. They're out of the playoffs.
Yep.
This is not a,
the reason they have 5 wins is because Jarius Jackson took over and he helped turn this team around.
I agree with that.
And we had honest discussions at one point, and now maybe we were just way too high, but we were actually talking about Grey Cup contention with this team. Like the heights that this team did reach under Jarius. I will say this for Jarius. He got himself in the conversation, which is more than I think a lot of people would have expected once he took over as the interim head coach.
But here, immediately...
good on him for that.
Immediately, once again, in the nasty chat, you have a lot of Trey Ford supporters saying, everybody goes but Trey. And I would agree with,
Well, where do you see
need a
everyone
better
goes for
defensive
Trey?
coordinator, better
there
than
it is.
better than a better head coach. And I would agree. The defense has been a very Jekyll and Hyde. But to the people that are saying, like Stealth Legends asked, do you guys think we will lose Ford after this season with how poorly we have managed him this season? As of right now, where else is he going to go? Is there somebody that's going to give him a bag based off, hey, look,
No.
here's something for you guys to consider. Trey Ford in his career is 7-9. 7-9.
Yeah, but the team hasn't been good.
I know, but that sometimes good quarterbacks figure out ways to win. He's got 3,134 yards. So he's played in 16 career games, okay? Schultz, who they're going up against in Calgary, has played in 11 starts. He's got 4,456 yards. And he's got a winning record, does Schultz. So you think if there's backups that are going to come out and spring loose and go to other teams in the CFL that they're just going to, we believe in Trey Ford. Yeah. Edmonton's missing something that everybody else is seeing. I'm sorry. You just cannot say that. I want Trey Ford to succeed as much as any of you do. Trust me. I love the story. I love that he's a Canadian quarterback. I love the excitement he brings to that offense. But at the end of the day, you have to be a winning quarterback.
Yeah. Well, but Trey Ford's 26. Matt Schultz is 31. Trey Ford is a young, developing quarterback, and it takes time to get there. And when you don't always have the confidence from your coaching staff, you don't get those opportunities to go in. And so I don't care that he's what do you have him as 7-9 as a career? That's not bad for a 26-year-old quarterback in this league. Go find me quarterbacks that are the first few years that are perfectly winning.
That's a fair point.
Where. But I will say this when it comes to if we're going to talk about the future of Trey Ford with this team right off the bat to who else would want him, where I would go is. No one's giving him a starting role, except possibly Edmonton. Maybe Calgary.
Which he'd have to win.
Maybe Calgary.
Which is why these two games are important.
If he gets the backup role, he leaves. That's where I could see the fresh start, getting a backup role somewhere else than being a backup here in Edmonton for another year. I understand that with that move for him, where like if Hamilton says, look, we don't want Taylor Powell, we're going to bring Bo back for one more year. Trey, you're going to be our backup quarterback this year, but we're going to put you forward. And if the Elks go, hey, Trey, we're bringing in, I don't know who that other quarterback, and we're going to bring back MBT again, but it's going to be an open competition in camp. I could see Trey choosing to leave for the fresh start. And
the offense has not been the problem here. This is the number one offense in the CFL, or was going into last week's game.
Well, but the one thing I will point out is you said, like with Trey, 7-9, Schultz 6-5. Trey hasn't, gone and got those wins. The offense hasn't gone and got those wins with Trey or MBT as well.
Man, okay.
But you just use that against Trey.
I know, but just
so you have to use that for this whole team as well.
Sure, but go back to, I guess the offense not finishing has been a problem.
They haven't carried them over the edge when the defense has completely.
Yeah, they seem to stub their toe a lot.
When I look back at
Curly Gittins Jr. gets stripped as they're marching down the field to take the lead in that game.
If I'm going to look back at this season and go, what was the biggest reason that they are missing the playoffs? Offense is going to be the number one reason. It can't be. No one can sit there and say the number one reason the Elks are out of the playoffs is that their offense didn't do enough.
Yeah. Okay, but
it's not. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not the reason that they're going to miss the playoffs.
No.
Well, the top reason.
And
it's going to. The reason the Elks aren't going to be in the playoffs for the most part is far too many games this year. The defense didn't perform.
True. And is Trey Ford going to be here or not next year? I don't know. And you know what? Like, if there's a better option out there, I don't care.
Well, if VA comes in, if you could go get VA, that might be the option that you want to look at for the Elks.
It's okay. Here, look at this. Silver Capri says only way to get him better is by playing. This team has not given him the ball to be the starter. The CFL is not a developmental league. This is not where you develop a quarterback at this right now. Now, in these last two games, yes, why not? You have nothing to lose. Put him into the fire, right? But this is not a developmental league where you say, "Hey, we're gonna work with this guy," and it may be, because what if you find out he's not developable?
Then you need to go get another quarterback.
Yeah, but then you've sunk 2-3 years into this player.
Yeah, but that's when you're that bad of a full franchise that the Elks have been. It's not like they were going to be Grey Cup this year. this was a perfect year to go and try to develop a quarterback and see what you got out of him.
Okay,
Like
that's a fair point.
You go
sure.
with you go with the NFL. You draft a young quarterback. You play him. At some point, there's nowhere else to develop.
I guess
there's no minor system
in this situation where you have no other option.
Yeah,
Sure, but this league, the team that's going to win the Grey Cup is going to have the quarterback that's playing the best at that time.
100%.
Yeah.
But the Elks were never that team of the last few years.
Okay.
Next year, they have to be a much more improved team. Okay. Even though you're going for a fresh start, like they do need to take that major step forward. And next year, they can't afford development.
Yeah, and
not with the fan base.
You know what? Full disclosure, these all these points have validity to them in some respect. They really do, because it's been that kind of a season. It really has, where you can't just pinpoint it at, oh, this cost the game, this cost the season. This.
Well, we could go Boris Beatty.
Combination. Yeah.
How many times could we say Boris Beatty cost this thing?
I didn't think we were going to even talk about him today, Matt. Why?
Well, we got to go through. We're saying who's to blame. How am I just going to not talk about Boris Beatty? At least mention his name if we talk about why they're not making the playoffs.
Well, and would you bring back a player like McLeod Bethel Thompson? That comes in as well.
You want to know something? I don't think he's coming back based on the fact that he's not even dressed for today's game.
I don't think he wants to continue playing football.
Well, there's that.
Right.
There's been the talks of retirement over the last couple of years. He left Toronto, ended up going to the UFL and all that. But I also think that maybe he's looking at it and he's like, I don't want to be in a situation where, like, let's say Trey moves on and the Elks bring back MBT. MBT's going to have a portion of fan base that are never going to get behind him because he's the reason Trey's not here in their eyes. And he might look at them and be like, I don't want to be part of that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's why I honestly think you go out and clean house. If Trey is... these two games for Trey Ford are big. For him, even.
I know, but
I know you say it's a lose-lose situation, but...
If he plays well,
yeah,
who's going to give him the real credit? People are going to be
people that watch football and appreciate football being played. These are professional athletes. There's no laydowns here.
And looking at this depth chart,
look at the depth charts. Exactly.
There's no other change. We said it in the hangout yesterday. I was like, I'm excited to see this depth chart, see what other changes. Maybe
no
other
changes.
Not a single other young change.
No, not one except the starting quarterback and the backup quarterback. So that tells you this is the team. They want to see what Trey Ford can do with the team behind him. And like I said before, Matty, I think the biggest screw-up of this coaching staff was not giving him the ball again to respond to his poor performance in Game 1 against Winnipeg in the back-to-back. I thought that was a complete letdown and an opportunity to really define who Trey Ford is. If he comes out and lays another egg in that second game, this is a totally different Trey Ford discussion. Because then you could say, look, he can't handle the bright lights. He can't handle the big games.
You know, there would be a lot more definitive take of whether he could be a quarterback.
Let that happen.
Or if he goes out and he wins that game and plays well, you could sit there and be like, you want to know something? There's a guy that he dealt with adversity.
Yes.
He figured this out. But this is partly the issue that you have when you have an interim head coach like Jarius Jackson, because he's interim. He's not here for 2025. At that moment, he might be coaching. He's coaching with that, but to get to 25, he needs to win at 24.
Yeah. And
he sits there and goes, I think MBT is going to give me a better chance of winning. And that might be the downfall of Jarius Jackson here in the end, was his going back and forth with the quarterback and not just sticking with that one guy. And I don't blame him fully for that, because I am sure there were other voices involved in this one. When you have a fan base that is as vocal for one quarterback over the other, I'm assuming there's a lot of other voices that while the football side at times may want a different quarterback, there's other people probably going, hey, but what about this guy? The fans really want him. And that couldn't have been easy to deal with. But back to the question, should Jarius Jackson be back as head coach? I will say whoever the GM is of this team, they owe it to interview him. That's as far as I probably go. I don't think I'd bring him back as the head coach. If he'd want to stick around as OC, I would take him as an OC.
Yeah, I would too.
I don't know if he'd want that, but I would gladly take him as the offensive coordinator.
Let me put this to you very straightforward and very simply. If Jarius Jackson is back as the head coach next year, Trey Ford will not be an Elk. Book it. There's friction there, clearly.
Yeah.
The only reason Jarius Jackson ever admitted to making the quarterback change was because of media pressure. Literally. That's what he said.
Well, that's why he announced it so soon, was the media pressure.
Yeah, which is a whole nother ball of wax that I don't know if we have. Is this a 2-hour pregame show or kickoff show.
Well, we don't have a lot to talk about the actual game. Well, we should actually get into 3 stories. For James H. Brown, Alberta Injury Lawyers. When accidents happen, go to jameshbrown.com. They're all over the city. You see them everywhere when it comes to James H. Brown. But check them out if you ever need an Alberta or a personal injury lawyer. The first story was about the quarterbacking change. We kind of already we transitioned from the question of the show right into 3 stories for James H. Brown. Trey started. I'll be intrigued to see what we get from Daggy. Jarius did talk about, seeing Daggy this week.
I just hope if it's a close game in the third, fourth quarter, if he doesn't say, well, we said Daggy would get this many X amount of snaps, we're going to put him in. Like, if Trey is in a tight game, I want to see what he does in those situations when the team needs to score or the team needs to, I hope that it's not already predetermined as to how many snaps each quarterback's going to play, because I just think that would be another chance where you have a chance to let
You don't want this to be another preseason game.
No.
Where it's, Trey, you're going to get 3 quarters, Daggy, we're going to play you in the 4th.
We had Trey on the Reed Wilkins show last week, and he said, I asked him specifically, are these last 2 games an opportunity for you to put some tape together? He said 100%. And he said, not just me. A lot of other players are in contract years or looking, like I said, this is professional football. They will not take snaps off. Everybody wants to do their best, and everybody's got a different reason for that. So I certainly hope that they treat this like this and see what Trey Ford can do. If Trey Ford comes out and lays 2 eggs here or lays an egg today against this Calgary team, I'm sorry. That's a lose situation. Right?
Yeah.
What are you going to say then? How are you going to wrap a nice bow tie around that if he comes out and plays terribly?
I'd have to see how he plays and what that conversation is. If we're talking about next year, I could say that there's rust. I could say a little bit of that. And Nathan Rourke didn't exactly play great against them. Did he? A couple of weeks ago?
No,
it's a very big hypothetical that I would have to see. But it's one, and this is where I say it's the lose-lose. If he doesn't play well, it's going to be an immediate, look, he's not the guy. But if he wins, there's going to be a lot of people who are like, but it was against Calgary. Just Calgary.
No, because listen,
there'll be a lot of that.
The outspoken people here are the pro-Trey Ford crowd.
I know, but there's a lot of anti-Trey. I don't know.
Not really. Not as much as the pro-Trey Ford.
Not in the fans. I would say there's other people in town that with voices that are more knocking of Trey Ford, and they'll be the ones to be like, see, all you fans are wrong. Trey's not good enough.
Well, I mean, if Trey Ford...
But if he wins, they'll sit there and go, but it was only Calgary late in the season.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Sure. Sure. Everybody's entitled to their own thoughts. I personally believe these are important games for him.
All that it matters is what do 2 individuals think. One, I don't know his name yet, or her name. One, I know, and it's what does Larry Thompson think?
Right.
Does Larry Thompson care who his starting quarterback is for next year in terms of a specific player, or does he just want a good winning quarterback?
He wants to fill the lower bowl. That's all he cares about.
Yeah, winning helps that, but also the fans, winning them over. You could do that with Trey. I don't know what Larry wants. I don't know what Larry.
I know. I guarantee. Right? I know what Larry wants.
But then also, what does his president think too? Because that's going to be the direction. They might sit there and be like, "We want Trey. We want Trey," and then that GM is going to have to agree to that, and then he's going to hire a coach that agrees to that. If they sit there and go, "We just want any quarter. We want VA. We want whatever," then that direction. So really, the only 2 opinions that matter. It's Larry Thompson's opinion, and it's just Larry's, because he's going to hire a president that kind of agrees with that decision.
Well, and don't forget
Which is weird to say that. We're just talking about a singular owner for that, but sorry.
No, there will be a team of people put together to help him with that decision.
I know, but the fact that we're not talking about the board, I would have never said, what does the board think when it comes to the quarterbacking? Because, screw them. But get to sit here, it's just for the first time in Elks franchise, we're talking about a single person.
Okay, so
what does Larry want?
Let's talk about this for a bit. Let's just let our brains expand and just say, okay,
we're just spitball.
What do you? Yeah, we're just spitballing. We're throwing spaghetti at the wall, see if it's done cooking yet. Are we? What are some names we're thinking about here, Maddie? For president, and is it president of team operations, president of football operations / GM? Is there 2 presidents?
I think how you hire this is you hire president of the Edmonton Elks Football Club. They oversee the entire organization, so they'll run the business.
Okay.
They run football. They would be a step higher than president of football ops, but you could give the title of president of football ops to someone.
Yeah, send in your wish list of who you would like to see as the president of the Edmonton Elks. Or the
There's
double
the one
E.
I want.
Well, there's one everybody wants.
It's Sean Fleming.
Yeah,
I don't know.
think
I
he's
haven't heard any names.
Let's just say this.
I don't know why he wouldn't be.
After a certain press conference that was held at the Commonwealth this year, a really big press conference, I walked out to my car with somebody who's been around this organization probably longer than any media member in Edmonton, and it was point blank, no, he is not interested.
See, and I've heard other things in the past.
And I saw this person talking to Sean Fleming prior to that. So
Sean, his name's going to obviously be out there because it's been out there for so many times.
I know, but who's? I mean, other than he's just a polished businessman, he's just obviously had a great football career here. But like, who's to say he's the second coming of presidents either, right? Like,
no, true. But when you look at the past presidents of this franchise after Rick Lawlisher left initially,
it's been spotty.
It was Len Rhodes, who came from Montreal, who didn't know anything really about the Canadian Football League. He's not from the market. Then you hire Chris Presson from Arizona, who's not even a Canadian, who definitely doesn't know the market. Then you hire Victor Cui, who is local, but he was a mess in the end. Now this is the next hire, and it's the reason you're behind Sean is that I think people want, the establishment of what the Double E once was, that mantra behind it. But I also think it's just they want a football guy.
Yes.
They want a football guy running
Victor Cui
was not football.
Exactly the right hire if you're looking for a promoter.
Yes.
He's a promoter.
Yes.
He did a good job of making and selling the belief in this team and rah, kumbaya. But you need a football mind at the top of this because that is, and that's why I say if you want to have, you can then hire and have a vice president of football ops.
But to me, I want someone higher than that person who can evaluate that person's role that's not Larry Thompson.
Sure.
And that's where I want,
So you just want to see a president, GM?
Yeah. No, I could go president, but, if you hire
vice president.
The word, no, let's go with the one Dusty kind of threw out a little bit yesterday on the morning show. You have Sean Fleming, he had business ops, president of business ops. You had Ed Hervey, president of football ops and GM. I would have Sean Fleming just as president of the Double E. And then there's a president of football ops who answers to Sean Fleming. I just want someone ahead of them that's not Larry Thompson, because I've seen it a little bit with Daryl Cates doing too much with the Edmonton Oilers. I want a football guy to evaluate this. And Len Rhodes, when he came in, he allowed Eric Tillman to trade Ricky Ray because he didn't know that was a bad trade.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you can't allow that to happen.
I agree.
You need someone that at least that could walk around a football practice and realize, are things right or are things wrong?
Yes.
And if it's wrong, he then could sit with his president of football ops and go, what's going on here? But if it's not Sean, I have no reason. Rod Connip would be one, because former alum, big in business. And that's the one thing is the CFL, there's a lot of former businessmen or now businessmen that were former players. Beyond that, there's no other names. I don't know who else you would get for president.
Trent Brown?
Would he want to go to that?
You think he wouldn't want that?
He's got a very successful company right now that I don't know if he'd want to leave that. That's the only thing.
I mean,
he cares about this franchise without question.
Look at a guy like Larry Ruck, who's still very prominent in the Edmonton business community as well. Tom Richards is currently on the board of directors, or was on the board.
I don't think you can hire him. I think just because
I don't think he'd want that
message.
Either. Yeah. Trent's been outspoken about wanting to be a part of this organization.
Well, that'd be a big one. James H. Brown's all over the place. They're right there on the bottom of our YouTube screen right now. That and alum.
Yeah.
That's the one thing is you want someone that
is passionate and cares and has a football mind.
And knows what it means to be an Eskimo, which is now Elk, or a Double E. He does.
Yes.
Right? He's got the ring for that. So that'd be a big one. The only other thing I could say is I wouldn't be this is just the gut. I wouldn't be shocked if all of a sudden Larry Thompson, just because he's a longtime fan, but he is also a businessman around the area, knows a businessman that's also just a fan of this team too. That isn't an actual former alum, but goes, this guy cares about the team like I do. And he's a great businessman. He's done great things in this community, or her. They've done great things. I've seen what they've done. I've dealt with them. Hey, do you want to come join me on this journey? Maybe that happens.
Maybe he hires Giz.
No. No.
What do you mean, no?
No.
He loves the Giz.
Yeah, sure, but I don't think I want Giz in charge of business ops of the Edmonton Elks.
It'd be fun. It'd be a lot of fun.
He could be in charge of fitness for the team or something, because that guy's still, he could probably outbench some of these players. And that's not a shot at the players. That's just how good Giz is right now. But I'll say, I just want the president named. Like this week, give us the name.
This week?
I would love it this week.
So you okay?
I want a president in place before the season ends. They should be starting to evaluate this franchise before it ends.
I believe that there was a short list when Larry came in.
Yeah.
Already. How far that's developed, I'm not sure. Maddie, they're not going to name a president until this season's done.
I heard that they was waiting till October, partly because of a job, having to finish up, that they knew who they were going to bring in. But then I heard later this week that there's maybe a couple names that are being floated around now.
Well, and I do like your comment about tying it to an alumni. I think that would be good for the organization too. Like Chris says, what's up with Willie Pless? Well, I'll tell you what's up with Willie Pless. He's one of 3 of this organization's 100 tackle players. J.C. Sherritt, Willie Pless, and Dan Bass. How about those names? And there's 2 Double E players that are
this season
going to get that this season.
Maybe today.
In Niles Morgan and Nick Anderson. Can you believe that?
Defensive Player of the Year nominee for the Elks will be Morgan. Rookie of the Year will be Anderson.
Yes,
Guaranteed.
And Anderson should probably win Rookie of the Year.
I will throw one more name for president.
Okay.
Warren Moon.
Now, there were...
Murray McCourt.
Yes.
He was the one.
That's all we need to know.
He threw out there at the Larry Thompson thing that Warren wants to be involved more with this team, knows Larry.
But you have to live here to do that.
I think he'd be willing to be around here more.
Seriously, that would be... I mean, that's a slam dunk. That's a win.
You think?
Yes.
The business part, I don't know. Do you have the know of where the franchise needs to go from a business perspective?
I think with the guidance of Larry and knowing where Larry wants to take it, I think Warren would be a great candidate. That's interesting.
That'd be the other name I would.
Okay, so we said Trent Brown.
I know who's my favorite, who I would still pick.
Sean Fleming.
Damn right.
I'm
right there with
Larry
Thompson, it wouldn't even be a question. It would be going to Sean and be going, what's the number?
Sean Fleming would be my number 1.
I know.
I just don't think he's interested.
Yeah, because he's been interested so much and been turned down. But if I'm Larry, I'm saying, what's the number?
I don't know if Sean Fleming would be my number 1 over Warren Moon.
Sean would be because he's got the business acumen.
You don't know that Warren doesn't.
I know how. I don't know that Warren doesn't or what his is, but I do know what Sean's is. And Sean's is incredible. Matt Iwanyk, Jay Milne with you here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports. This is the Green and Gold Kickoff Show. Elks getting set to take on the Stampeders just after 1 o'clock. You can watch that game exclusively on CTE. So don't
Hopefully
go to TSN.
We can watch it.
They said we should. What I've been told is that these wall of TVs behind us at 12:45, they're just going to shut off.
Okay,
and they come back
10
on.
minutes from now.
And then the TV is set to change at 1 o'clock to the game. So they might have it. If they have it, then I don't know what that one person was helping you with before. Quite a few weeks ago when they didn't.
There was a lot of TV boxes, a lot of confusion, and I don't know how these things work. I can't.
Sometimes
I'm the worst person about technology,
and I'm not.
Like it took you 2 minutes to get me to be able to chat with people in the nasty chat.
Yeah, but you don't get the wrench.
That would have taken me a year.
But you don't get the wrench.
I've got enough wrench in my life.
Yeah, but you're not. It's like you here, and there's no wrench.
Well,
and I don't like that.
Maybe I can type in wrench as an emoji. Maybe there's an emoji wrench I can put in each time.
I'm sure there is.
I think that defeats the purpose.
Search emotes.
Okay, so let's see if there's a wrench.
There's a wrench.
Oh, yeah, there's a wrench.
Yay.
Yay.
Maybe that's what everyone's doing. They're just putting in the wrench. Anyone on the YouTube chat will just now see Edmonton Sports Talk with a wrench. Yay.
Yay.
Our second story of this game, because, I didn't even finish the first one. I'll quickly run through it. Matt Schultz getting the start for the Calgary Stampeders. This is the third starting QB for the Stampeders against the Elks this season. Jake Mayer, 4 interceptions in Game 1. Logan Bonner, 5 interceptions in Game 2. So,
well, and Matt Schultz is also 1-0 versus Edmonton. Will Trey Ford What is his career against Calgary?
He won the Labor Day rematch last year,
2-1
and he lost Labor Day last year, but it was a very good game. Has he ever? The year one, he got hurt in the first quarter against him. That's when he broke his collarbone. Last year, I went through the two. He didn't play Calgary this year, so he's 1-1.
Gotcha.
Although he might be 1-2 because of that. They were trailing in that one game, so I don't know if that one would work.
There's random wrenches being thrown around.
Yeah, VR could. Anyone could throw in the wrench now. We've learned that.
This one comes in from Stupid Asso. What's AJ Gass doing, or Jason Moss? Well, Jason Moss is the head coach of the Montreal Alouettes. I don't think you're tearing him away from that. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I know Jason Moss still lives in the area. AJ Gass is the defense coordinator of the Golden Bears. But if you're looking for somebody that's going to be, have the business acumen for this, I don't know that either of those guys would fit the bill.
Let's keep flaming. The Pipeline Show coming up right after at 1 o'clock on our audio channel.
You just outed him.
Well, he did it on this other one, Guy Flaming.
Oh, okay.
That's where I was looking. I'm like,
we'll change it to Guy Flaming.
Update
his contact.
I love that Guy's.
I love that Guy's listening too.
Like I said, Pipeline Show coming up in just over 20 minutes time, right here on Edmonton Sports Talk on our audio channel. Add to contact. Not just Guy Flaming. ST winner Guy Flaming.
ST winner Guy Flaming.
Friend of the ST winner.
Guy would love. We had Joe Aginla on. He's the Edmonton Oil King. He just made the Team Red for the U17 World Challenge. And he was on our show and we interviewed him. What a beauty. He is just a fun kid. Very well spoken. And it was funny. Reed asked him about, his age, and he said, "Yeah, I turned 16 already." Like, that was already 4 months ago.
Just so old.
Like he was so old, man.
So old.
Oh my gosh.
I got to get to storyline number 2 in our 3 stories for James H. Brown, Alberta Andrew Lawyers. Alabama, upset watch right now. Trailing South Carolina 19-14. That's South Carolina
First
22.
Vandy, now South Carolina.
ALDS, Game 5, deciding Game 5, bottom of the 5th. Tigers up 1-0 on the Guardians. Winner will meet my Yankees, and in the NLCS, it'll be Mets taking on the Dodgers. Second story of the game, slow starts.
Yeah.
Edmonton Elks. You know the answer to this, but I'm going to throw it out to our nasties and let it just marinate for a little bit. How many points do you think they've scored in the first quarter of their last 5 games?
Combined?
I think that's combined. I should have double-checked that. I just trusted the notes. Did you not see that? You saw that stat, didn't you?
I saw that stat too, but I didn't look into it because I knew you had it.
Okay, but again, I'll just for the nasties, yeah, it's looking pretty good. How many points have the Elks scored in the first quarter in their last 5 games combined?
Should be the trivia question of the day.
Well, the answer is 5 points. It is true. 2 on Labor Day. 2 on Labor Day rematch. And last week against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 1. So they're all singles. Jake Julian has been scoring all the points for the first quarter for the Elks over the last 5 games. They are 2-3 in that stretch. They obviously won those 2 games against Calgary. But you can't start that slow when you're that offense. Like you got to put up a few more points than that.
Well, 100%. And sustain that. And that was what they were doing well. I think it was four games ago, I found a stat that showed that when they are up at halftime, they're winning. They were perfect. When they were up after the first quarter, they had only lost 1 game. So, yes, it's very important to get a head start and get out early.
It's ridiculous to think that over 5 games, they're averaging 1 point in the first quarter.
It's terrible.
Like in hockey, that'd be great. In the first period, you're averaging 1 goal to start a game. That's pretty good. The Canadian Football League.
In hockey, that would be okay.
Yeah, like here,
we're talking. Be great.
In the CFL, you're averaging over 5 games a single point. And if this was America, you wouldn't get any of those points.
That's an absurd stat.
I couldn't believe it.
In the last, how many
one.
games was that?
5.
Yeah, well, look at their record.
2-3.
Yeah.
Like, that one I found to be absolutely wild. So they're going to need a better start. And storyline number 3 for this game. First time.
Hey, but hang on a sec.
You want to?
Well, with slow starts and you're talking about this team, the defense versus Calgary has eaten them up. 9 interceptions this year already. They've won by scoring margins of 72-36 to 36. They should get out and be able to sustain that. This Calgary team's not that great.
No. Losers of 7 straight.
But do you think that's, I wanted to talk about this a bit, and this was, well, no, never mind. I realized that I'm wrong, and you're right. You have that point coming up right now. That's what I was trying to talk about.
Bama scored. Sorry. Just a heads up there in the lead. First time both Alberta teams have missed the playoffs ever. The Calgary Stampeders, they had made the playoffs 18 straight years. That is now done. I also saw this, though, which surprised me. The Elks have made the playoffs over 75% of the time they've been in this league.
Yeah.
They've made the playoffs 59 of 77 years. This has been a bad run now of the last 20 years or something. They just way too many missed playoffs. But prior to that, they were making it, and this club is the club that has made the playoffs the most, followed by the Calgary Stampeders. But both teams will not be in the playoffs this year, which is, you know what? I'll say this one thing about that stat because it was thrown out a lot last week, a little bit once the Elks lost and both teams were eliminated. Do you care about that?
What, the first time since 1945 that neither team's made the playoffs? No, I think it's great for the CFL, actually.
It's not even that. I just don't care about Calgary.
I think it's really good for the CFL.
It's one of those, okay, cool. The Calgary's been in the playoffs the last few years. Edmonton hasn't.
Well, it just shows that there's the opportunity for parity.
Sure, but screw Calgary.
I'm not
pro Alberta for that. No, I want Calgary to lose all the time.
I'm not an ABC guy.
Why not?
Because I'm from Alberta.
Yeah, and we say screw Calgary.
No, we say screw Toronto.
Yeah, and then once between the two,
I'd screw Toronto first. Screw
Calgary.
No,
yeah,
you're wrong.
A big uke. Howdy, folks. Calgary sucks. Go Elks. Little double whammy, Edmonton today. Let's go. We got the Oilers taking on the Blackhawks later today. Oilstream pregame show 7:00 with Tommy and Hernan and Belsey. Today.
Belsey's on today?
Belsey's on for gas. Tomorrow, it's the Battle of Alberta as the Oilers hosting the Calgary Flames as well on this Thanksgiving weekend. So we got the double Battle of Alberta right now. And actually, with that said, because we're almost done the 3 stories and I'll let you jump in, but we'll get to our cool bet props of the game. But it looks like Dusty built a little parlay for today.
For today or today and tomorrow?
Today. Connor McDavid, 2+ points. Edmonton Oilers and the Edmonton Elks both to win. Plus 325. That's in the exclusive Click Edmonton Sports Talk parlay. So McDavid, 2 points today, was held pointless on opening night. Oilers to beat the Blackhawks, Elks to beat the Stamps. That's plus 325. I'm guessing Dusty built that one there. But I don't know, can we bet on tomorrow's Oiler game? Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Sometimes they don't have them up yet.
Can you bet on who's going to win the Super Bowl next year?
No, it's not there. Because I was going to say, if you could get both Oilers.
I'm going to sprinkle that one.
Sprinkle?
On the Edmonton Sports Talk parlay.
But okay, there you go. That's our storyline. We got 2 teams that aren't going to be in the playoffs, but for the first time ever, both the Alberta teams won't be in the playoffs. I'm sad about one, not the other. I also just don't want people to get anywhere close to the record of the Edmonton Elks of 34 straight years in the playoffs.
And this is the first time that Edmonton could sweep Calgary in the season since 2002. So there is something, something there.
Screw Calgary.
I don't like Calgary. I just hate other teams more than I hate Calgary. I'm sorry.
I don't know how you know.
My wife's family's from there.
So
she was
family. I have so many people.
She was a Stampeder touchdown horse rider.
I've got
my middle daughter Rose
that live all down.
God bless her, is a Stamps fan. Yeah. So I have a house divided. Okay.
Well, you got to just get her some more Elks stuff.
Thank you. I will.
Convince. She's how old is she?
Rose 10.
Yeah, this is perfect time. They're still trying to figure out
more for manipulate her.
She's trying to figure out what teams she wants to be in. Cheer for. That was about when I started picking my teams. And these are the important years. These are the important years. Her life is going to be these next couple of years are. The path she goes down are important. I don't care about school.
In reflection,
I don't care about her athletic abilities.
I feel like I've let her down as a father.
No, this is where you need to get it done.
Okay. I'm on it.
Next year, you need to no, Rose. I don't know if she's watching right now, but you'd be like, hey, Rose, you gotta get it all on the Elks. I'm not. You gotta look and be like, I'm not doing it at Calgary Stampeders. I'm not doing the red and white kickoff show.
I wonder what team that guy cheers for.
I'm doing the green and gold kickoff show. That's Wolverines right there.
Is that Mike the Michigan fan? Oh, hey. I'm like, that's got to be Mike the Michigan fan. Doing well. Big game
Nick
for
Ozzie
Michigan today. Michigan.
Who do they have?
They're in. Who did Michigan play in What?
Bye week.
Oh, I thought they were
They're
in
idle.
Dallas.
There's a lot of idle teams this week. McAussie. Trouble with Calgary is many there discount Edmonton even though they've never been here. Yeah. Calgary's awful.
Calgary's the worst.
The two best things about Calgary that I always get told. The mountains.
Yeah.
And they have a great airport. So 2 reasons to leave Calgary. The best reasons for Calgary. Boom. Let's get to our cool bet props of the game.
I hate the Dinos. Tell you that. Hate the Dinos. Hate the Colts. They can go screw right off.
There's only one team I ever cheered for in Calgary.
I know who it is.
Who?
Mount Royal. Because your cousin played there.
It was Sate.
Oh, Sate.
And he coached.
Right. He coached there.
Yeah. No. So I never actually fully became an ook. Never became an ook.
Why not?
Oh, because I was at Ook's Arena, Nate Arena, cheering for Sate when I was younger.
See,
So
the problem
I
with
feel like I
Nate-
couldn't get into, and also like I am officially now one, but I was always a U of A.
Well,
In
the problem
heart,
with Nate is
I was
that
always
you're
a
only
Golden
there-
Bear Panda.
I know, but you're
That's
only
where it
there
was.
for a couple of years for your program.
3 semesters.
Or,
That's
yeah,
it.
not even that.
The 4th semester
How
you're
can
gone.
you really get that
You can't.
engaged with it?
You can't. And I didn't do the play-by-play of it. Cool bet props of the game. What are you looking at?
Well, this little bit to do with last week. I thought Zach Mathis had a very good showing last week. The 6'7" rookie receiver for the Elks.
Does he have a prop?
What's that?
Oh, he doesn't have a prop.
No, he does. Touchdown
No,
score.
that's where you're going. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was looking
because
for
him and Trey Ford are also very, very good friends. So could see something a little exciting that might pique your interest going into next year. So I got Zach Mathis anytime touchdown score at plus 250.
He's going for a 7th touchdown in a row. Hasn't happened since Ben Cahoon. Eugene Lewis. 6 straight games he has scored a touchdown. He has been in the end zone. The Sacramento Gold Miners know that all too well. He helped carry them to a victory. Eugene Lewis, anytime scorer, plus 145.
Like it.
That's what I'm looking at.
Jake Julian's hunting down a record. I don't know if it's the best in his case, but
If you're looking at
punting average record.
if you're looking at Trey Ford numbers, his over and under is set at 229.5.
What's his scoring touchdowns at?
Touchdown. Well,
One and a
passing
half?
touchdowns is 1.5 at plus 110.
I'd take that too.
Does he have? He does not have rushing yards.
I'm going to take Trey Ford as well.
Throwing over 1.5 touchdowns.
Yeah. I'm just sprinkling everywhere here.
Sprinkles. Does Coolbet actually?
Plus-
Coolbet sometimes they don't have the CFL ones today, unless they have it at the top. I gotta just double check here.
Because it's
I
plus
don't see anything.
110. You got to take that.
Dusty, the random wheel has the Steelers this week against the Raiders, the Chargers over the Broncos, and the Lions over the Cowboys. That's not bad. I actually like that one. Plus 338. This is the Green and Gold Kickoff Show. Daily special here at Century Casino. It is the prime rib sandwich for $12.99. You also got the game day special, which is the cheese and jalapeno smoky for $14.99 with the waffle fries. But there's also a brunch till 2. So once this game gets going at 1 o'clock, I'm ordering the brunch.
You're doing the brunch?
Oh, yeah.
Too
We're not going to get another chance to do the brunch this year, so
I've never been a brunch guy.
this looks like a really good breakfast sandwich on there,
Yeah.
on the menu.
I saw the hollandaise thing. That looked intriguing. And to Eric and Lucas's detest, I guess there is a Caesar that comes with a slider, and it's one of those big ones, so it's not as.
Like only like $14.
Yeah, I thought the price was fair.
Caesar and a slab.
Maybe I'll start with that.
It's amazing. Great weekend start with a Caesar.
Ooh, I love Caesar.
I actually don't even know how I haven't had a Caesar here. I don't even know how their Caesars are.
Don't you say?
Well, although there's a peach bowl, and I just love peach. Let's hear from Jarius Jackson now.
Okay.
We got to hear from Jarius. We did promise this earlier. Jarius Jackson, interim head coach of the Edmonton Elks, he spoke with the media earlier this week.
Is this tougher for vets or for young guys? This scenario where you got 2 games left, there's no postseason. There's still let's not mince words. There's a cloud of disappointment.
Of course, there's always a cloud of disappointment, but we're gonna smile and have a smile on our face, a song in our heart, and fight through it. Right? That's the only way. And it may, in my eyes, it could be. You would think it would be tougher for a vet than it would be a young guy, because a young guy, most of the young guys, probably their first, second year or what have you. But I think everyone feels it. To a certain degree, everyone feels it. Like you said, maybe the vets a little bit deeper than others, especially guys that feel like they don't have much time left in the game and what have you, and want to make the playoffs, want to have the opportunity to win a Grey Cup. So I think it's tough on everybody, but yeah, it could be the older vets for sure.
Can that youthful exuberance because they're still excited about playing the game, right?
Correct.
Happy to be here kind of thing.
Correct.
And put good stuff on film. Can a vet draw off of that?
No question. And you just drop the fact that, as the game gets closer, you better be prepared. You better be prepared to go out and fight because, at the end of the day, you'll get punched in the mouth if you're not prepared, right? Mm-hmm. And, it's a physical game. And, I don't want guys going out there, half doing things and mess around and get hurt, right? So we definitely want to finish the season on a high note and healthy as well.
As the game gets closer, are you starting to sense a little more excitement?
Oh, no question. Like, it was a little more excitement out there today, and that's what I told them. Thanks for bringing the energy. Like, felt today was a little bit better than yesterday. I know I feel a little bit better than yesterday, and it is what it is where we are right now. But we still want to finish the season on a high note.
Cordell Jackson, from week 1 to now. What type of player is he?
He's playing like a vet, right? He's a smart kid. He's playing like a vet, very instinctual. Communicates well with the guys to the field, and like I said before, I'm glad to have him on our team. I think he was the guy that Swerve told us about, a long time ago. I think they played at Austin P together, and then they used to compete all the time. And I think we went and pulled him up from the indoor league or something like that. And he's been a breath of fresh air for sure on the team.
When Mark Lewis got hurt in that late July game against Hamilton, you put Devondrick Bynum in, and people. Not in here, but people are like, oh, interesting. Right. Worked out just fine, it seemed like.
Right. Well, it's crazy because when you look back at camp and all of that, I think Devondrick and KJ were basically fighting for that field half position. And I think it was up in the air as to which guy we were going to be able to keep. Not that we didn't want to keep both, but, which guy we were going to be able to keep. And, luckily it worked out. We were able to keep both. And like you said, when Marcus Lewis went down in the Hamilton game, now you have both of them on the same side. So, I know the other night, I think the Johnson kid, number 3 I think that's his name, from Sask, made a pretty good play against Bonham, where he out-jumped him. We out-jumped one of their DBs. They one-upped us and out-jumped Bonham. But, that's going to happen sometimes when you're of shorter stature. But I think if he had timed it up a little bit better, he would have made the play on it. But, proud of both of those guys and ecstatic the way they play.
Do you see the leadership from Moncrief and Purefoy? I mean, you can't not hear Lou.
Right.
But do you see it having a positive effect on those two?
No question. And then those guys are just being who they are as well, too. I mean, both of those guys were, in my opinion, were good people before they came through the door. And I think just being around the right guys is going to help them grow and learn how to be leaders as well.
The difference from with Zach Mathis from start 1 to start 2, noticeable.
And very noticeable. I mean, I went and watched the TV copy of the game last night, and like you guys were saying, 7 targets, 6 catches, and and they were big catches. I mean, we were getting cover 0 on a couple of those, where he was able to catch, turn up his shadow, doing a good job of getting first downs for us. One right before the half, before we ended up turning the ball over on a knee interception. I thought he went up and made a high grab that Mac put it up high where only he could get it, and he was able to come down with it. So you can definitely see the confidence in him growing game by game, which is good to see.
One thing we saw with the offense, maybe we didn't see it enough in the 2-game series with Winnipeg. It might be the challenge for the 2 quarterbacks or 3 quarterbacks this weekend. You played fast. You played fast in the pass game.
Yes. Oh, yeah, we played fast in the pass game, and that was good. I mean, at the end of the day, we try our best not to make our quarterbacks be a quarterback on first down, because at the end of the day, you end up in second and long situations and what have you. But, the plan in some of those games was to try to run the ball, try to be physical. And, but then we get to a point where you're forced to throw the football, especially if you get down early. I think we're down 17 or 20-something points early, and then now you're forced to have to throw the football. But I felt like all season long, definitely in the pass game with the receivers, they definitely play fast. Even sometimes when we're making mistakes, at least we're playing fast.
That's Jarius Jackson, interim head coach of your Edmonton Elks. Matt Iwanyk, Jay Milne with your Green and Gold Kickoff Show, wrapping up right away. Here's the Elks will be taking on the Stampeders just after 1 o'clock on TSN. Matt Hyman and the Nasty Chat. Any escorts nearby?
Not seen yet. T-Buds in the EST inbox says, never lost to the Colts or Dinos or any Calgary team in my whole football playing career. Milne, my brother, I'm sure you can say the same about back when you played. I can. It was painful when the Dinos went on their run and the Bears didn't win a game for 5 years. Maddie, I love the airport/mountain jokes. I'm going to start using that.
I've been using that one for a little bit. Well,
And
that's
Bruce,
it's the easiest way to go. Like, that was, we got this great airport. We fly a lot of places. Or the mountains are nearby. Yeah, cool. So leave Calgary to make it good.
And
Use
Bruce coming in from William Huff. Thanks
hey,
for
Bruce.
listening. Guys, agree that a president needs football knowledge, but I think a president of football is needed and a president of the club with a community connection. We have missed having this for 10 years and lost touch with local businesses, sponsors, and fans. Happy Thanksgiving, Bruce. Happy Thanksgiving to you, and I agree.
The family. And that's where, like, if the idea of a Sean Fleming and an Ed Hervey does make sense, because Sean could oversee the football ops, but he has someone that's running the football, like in Ed, and he could focus on business, but if it's not going right, he could clear his throat and go, what's going on?
And Gary from Winnipeg says, why do you hate any team? I think this is towards you. Promote your favorite teams in any sport. By promoting your hatred displays your complete lack of tolerance. A total loser.
Why do you hate any team? It's called sports. It's rivalries.
Matt, I agree with him. You're showing your total loser side here.
Well, hold on. I got to read this text before we get, like, why do you hate any team? Promote your favorite teams in any sport. By promoting your hatred displays your complete lack of tolerance. A total loser. Have you followed sports? Have you ever paid attention to sports?
He's
Rivalries is one of the biggest things there are in this world, and you cheer against your rivals. I absolutely hate the Boston Red Sox. I hate the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, but exude some self-control. Jeez.
I hate Liverpool. Like, what? If there's anything I'm going to be like, no, you're completely wrong with to that texter, which is Gary from Winnipeg. Sorry. Sports is about hatred of other teams as much as it is about your love of your team. The rivalries there.
I honestly don't know if I have, like, a team, even, like, I like that I would just, I hate.
I've got many.
I've got too many other things to worry about in life than hating sports teams.
Dallas Cowboys?
I don't hate the Dallas Cowboys. I hate
the Steelers. They're my Ravens' biggest rival. I hate Calgary because that's the BOA, Battle of Alberta.
See, but I grew up in a church house where hate was a word you just never used. So maybe that's rubbed off on me in my elder years here.
It's sports. That's sports. That's part of sports. You have that. Sure, if you want to go with dislike for that, I dislike Calgary. If you want me to be a little softer.
Sure. Matt Hyman said that person does not represent all Winnipeggers.
I've never heard another sports fan ever be like, yeah, you shouldn't ever not like another team. Key to an Elks victory. Against the lovely Calgary Stampeders, who I hope have a wonderful time today, and everyone has a good time. Everyone has fun out there. Can we bet on that?
Come out strong. Come out fast. Don't lay an egg in the first quarter. And I think things will go your way. Obviously, if you have a lead going into halftime, that seems to be a recipe for success, not only for the Elks team, but for a lot of other teams. But come out fast. Come out with desire. Come out with competitiveness. And let's see what Trey Ford can do. What are the odds we're actually going to be able to watch this game here?
Good thing we're at a casino. Good, I like that. I'm going to put it at 50-50. I think she knew what she was doing. I forgot her name.
Who, Deb?
No. The one that brought us the coffee and the water.
Oh, okay.
I think Connie. I don't know if it's
Sure,
Connie.
she looks like a Connie.
I think... TV search. Oh, no, it's right there. Oh, what does that say? Attention, you are not currently subscribed to the channel.
Oh, no.
Please select a different channel. No, I'm going to put it now at 100%. We'll watch it off my laptop. Yeah, they do not subscribe to CTV here.
Oh, no.
She put it on the right channel.
See, why don't... Okay, CTV and TSN are the same company. Owned by the same company. Why don't they put it on CTV and TSN 87?
For years, a lot of CFL fans, including myself, were like, these games need to be on CTV. But we always thought with TSN. Not without, okay. We'll see what's going to happen. But you could come join us and watch it off my laptop. My key to an Elks victory, get to Matt Schultz. This team they'll throw interceptions.
Yeah,
the defense could beat this team, so get to Matt Schultz. Your prediction for today's game?
My prediction is an Edmonton win, 28-17.
Elks Stamps, that's coming up in mere minutes on CTV. Thanks for tuning in to the Green and Gold Kickoff Show. Coming up next here on the audio stream, it is the Pipeline Show with Guy Flaming. And then after the game, be sure to come back right here to ESD. Your clear choice for Edmonton Sports. As Jay and I will be back with the post-game show. Breaking down the action. It's also one of those things where we'll probably be talking a little bit about 2025 quite a bit as well in that one. Talking a lot about quarterback. But enjoy the football game. Thanks for tuning in on behalf of Jay. I'm Matt. We'll talk to you once this game is over.